January 12, 2047. The orbital decay was undeniable, a phantom whisper in the data from the Kepler-X telescope. A world, designated Persephone 7, was spiraling inward, not towards a star, but towards an invisible devourer. Its light curve, once a steady beat of distant reflection, now pulsed with a frantic, accelerating rhythm, a death rattle echoing across 80 light-years of void. This wasn't a rogue planet simply drifting through the interstellar medium, this was a captive, a world held in an impossible embrace, pulled relentlessly towards an unseen maw. The implications were staggering, a cosmic contradiction that threatened to unravel decades of astrophysics. How could a planet exist without a star, yet be drawn into something so profoundly powerful, so utterly dark? The very notion defied the fundamental principles of planetary formation and stellar dynamics, leaving the small team at the European Southern Observatory facility in Chile staring at screens filled with data that screamed both impossible truth and impending doom. The air in the control room was thick with a silence broken only by the hum of servers and the frantic clicking of keyboards, each scientist grappling with the horrifying beauty of a world on the brink of obliteration, its fate sealed by a gravitational puppet master no one could see. Rewind 3 years. Kenji Tanaka, then a junior data analyst fresh out of his master's program, first flagged the anomaly. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible wobble in the light curve of a seemingly empty patch of sky, a statistical blip in a vast ocean of cosmic noise. His senior colleagues, seasoned by years of false positives and instrument glitches, dismissed it as exactly that, noise. Dr. Eris Thorne, a brilliant but controversial astrophysicist known for his radical theories and a past career setback, initially waved it off too, his gaze distant, already focused on grander, more theoretical pursuits. Kenji, however, possessed a stubborn streak and an uncanny knack for pattern recognition. He spent weeks cross-referencing, scrubbing the data, convinced there was a signal hidden beneath the static. The wobble wasn't random, it possessed a subtle periodicity, a ghost in the machine that hinted at an unseen gravitational influence. He kept presenting his findings, a quiet, persistent voice against the tide of indifference, until one rainy Tuesday, Thorne, idly scrolling through Kenji's meticulously compiled graphs during a coffee break, paused. His eyes, usually clouded with abstract thought, sharpened. There, in the faint, repeating dip, was a signature too precise to be mere error. It was the faintest whisper of a world. Thorne, risking his already shaky reputation and the last vestiges of his research funding, diverted precious telescope time from a more conventional exoplanet survey. The decision sent ripples of disapproval through the scientific community. Dr. Lena Petrova, his former mentor and now a formidable observational astronomer in her own right, publicly questioned his sanity. Chasing ghosts, Eris, she'd warned during a terse video call, her face etched with concern and a hint of exasperation, after what happened with Project Chimera, you can't afford another wild goose chase. Project Chimera, a decade prior, had been Thorne's audacious but ultimately failed attempt to prove the existence of dark matter interactions through gravitational lensing anomalies, a venture that had consumed millions in funding and left his career in tatters. Now, he was once again pushing the boundaries, betting everything on a hunch and a junior analyst's obscure data. The observatory director, Director Evelyn Reed, a pragmatic administrator with a keen eye on public perception and budget lines, gave Thorne a tight, non-committal approval, her gaze lingering on the funding projections, a clear warning in her silence. The pressure was immense, the stakes personal and professional, and the chances of success seemed infinitesimally small. Months of painstaking observation followed, a grueling marathon of data. Acquisition and analysis. Kenji, now Thorne's unofficial protégé, worked tirelessly, his youthful enthusiasm a stark contrast to Thorne's often brooding intensity. They sifted through terabytes of raw telemetry from the Kepler-X, searching for any corroborating evidence, any undeniable proof. Then, the impossible, not just a wobble, but a distinct transit signature. A planet. A world passing in front of, nothing visible. The light from a distant background star would dim, ever so slightly, with a periodicity that matched Kenji's initial anomaly, confirming the existence of an orbiting body. The data was clear, pristine, yet it defied every known law of planetary formation. How could a planet exist without a star to coalesce from, without a sun to warm its surface? The implications were profound, unsettling. It was a world born in shadow, orbiting an unseen primary, a cosmic orphan tethered to an invisible parent. Kenji let out a gasp, his finger trembling as he highlighted the definitive transit. Thorn, usually reserved, allowed himself a rare, triumphant, almost manic grin, his eyes gleaming with the vindication of a man who had stared into the void and found a secret. Thorn, emboldened by the transit data, proposed the unthinkable, a primordial microblack hole. A relic from the Big Bang, barely larger than a city, yet with the mass of 100 suns, its gravitational pull immense, invisible, and utterly dominant. The scientific community erupted in derision. The idea of primordial black holes, while theoretically possible, had long been relegated to the fringes of cosmology, a convenient but unproven explanation for certain dark matter phenomena. To suggest one was actively hosting a planet was heresy. Director Reed, her face a mask of controlled fury, threatened to cut funding entirely. Eris, she'd hissed during a closed-door meeting, this isn't just a theory, this is a career-ending fantasy. Do you know what this will do to the IAU's reputation? The media, always eager for controversy, seized upon the story, ridiculing Thorn as the black hole prophet and his planet as Thorn's folly. The pressure mounted, not just from his peers, but from the very institutions that funded his work. Thorn, however, remained resolute, his conviction unwavering. He knew the ridicule was merely a prelude to a paradigm shift, a testament to the magnitude of his discovery, but the isolation was palpable, a chilling reminder of his past failures. Petrova, despite her deep-seated skepticism and her public criticisms, couldn't ignore the accumulating evidence. Thorn's data, once dismissed as circumstantial, was becoming undeniably robust. A new, independent team at the Gemini Observatory, initially tasked by Reed to debunk Thorn's claims, inadvertently confirmed the planet's existence and its strange, starless orbit. Their independent analysis, however, revealed something terrifying, something Thorn and Kenji had missed in their initial excitement: the orbit was decaying, rapidly. Persephone 7 was falling. The invisible primary wasn't just holding the planet, it was slowly, inexorably, pulling it closer, devouring it by degrees. The news sent a chill through the entire scientific community, turning skepticism into a horrified awe. Petrova, reviewing the new data, felt a cold dread settle in her stomach. This wasn't just a theoretical curiosity anymore, it was a cosmic death sentence playing out in real time, a slow-motion catastrophe. The black hole, whatever it was, wasn't merely a passive orbiter, it was a hungry predator, and Persephone 7 was its doomed prey. The team realized the black hole wasn't merely a passive orbiter, it was a hungry predator. The tidal forces, the differential gravitational pull across Persephone 7's diameter, were ripping the world apart, slowly, agonizingly. The planet's surface, they theorized, was likely experiencing unimaginable geological stress, its very crust groaning under the strain. They needed more data, faster, more detailed observations of the planet's surface and the black hole's immediate vicinity. But the best telescopes were booked for decades, their schedules meticulously planned years in advance. Thorn, desperate, proposed a radical, dangerous solution: a flyby probe. A small, autonomous craft, designed for a single, high-speed pass through Persephone 7's outer atmosphere before slingshotting around the black hole's event horizon, gathering crucial data in its final moments. The risks were astronomical. The probe would face unimaginable gravitational stresses, radiation, and the very real possibility of being torn apart or swallowed before it could transmit anything meaningful. It was a Hail Mary, a desperate gamble against the relentless march of cosmic time, and the price of failure would be not just millions of dollars, but the loss of an unprecedented opportunity to understand the universe's most enigmatic objects. Director Reed saw the immense political capital in such a mission, a chance to restore the IAU's reputation and secure future funding, but also the immense, undeniable risk. Project Chimera, Thorn's previous failed venture, loomed large in her mind, a ghost of wasted resources and public ridicule. She knew the media would feast on any failure. Petrova, surprisingly, stepped forward, vouching for Thorn, putting her own impeccable career on the line. "This isn't chimera, Evelyn," she argued, her voice firm, her gaze unwavering. "This is different. This is a chance to rewrite the cosmos, to understand the very fabric of reality. Eris may be reckless, but he's also brilliant, and he's right about this. We have to try." Her endorsement, from such a respected and conservative voice, swayed Reed. The director, after a long, agonizing pause, her gaze sweeping between Thorn's fervent intensity and Petrova's quiet conviction, finally gave her reluctant approval. The probe, christened Icarus by Kenji, a name that carried both hope and a chilling premonition, was fast-tracked for launch, a testament to the desperate urgency of their mission and the unlikely alliance that had formed in the face of the unknown. The probe, Icarus, launched with a roar, a fiery arrow aimed at the heart of cosmic mystery. Days turned into weeks, then months, as it hurtled across the vast expanse, a lonely messenger on a one-way journey. The team watched, breathless, as it approached Persephone 7. As Icarus entered the world's exosphere, the data streamed back, not just a barren, tidally locked rock, but a world of impossible, shimmering oceans, defying the crushing gravitational forces, held together by an unknown, alien energy. Gigantic, crystalline structures pierced through perpetual storms, reflecting the unseen black hole's accretion disk in a kaleidoscope of warped light. The planet was alive, thriving against all odds, a miracle of cosmic resilience. Then, Icarus crossed the black hole's event horizon. The final transmission was garbled, broken by the immense gravitational distortion, but a few words pierced through the static, echoing in the silent control room: "It's not empty, it's a..." And then, nothing. Silence. The screen flickered, then went dark, leaving the team staring at the void, their minds reeling from the impossible vision and the terrifying, unresolved question of Icarus's final, broken message. The world mourned Icarus, the brave little probe, but celebrated the discovery of Persephone 7, the Whisperer's world, a symbol of cosmic mystery and the universe's boundless capacity for the unexpected. Thorn, vindicated, now carried a new, heavier burden, the unanswered question of Icarus's final words, a puzzle that gnawed at his very soul. What had the probe seen? What lay beyond the event horizon, in the heart of that primordial darkness? Petrova, now a staunch advocate for deep space exploration, spearheaded new missions, her skepticism replaced by a profound sense of wonder and urgency, pushing for probes that could withstand even greater extremes. Reed, her legacy secured by the groundbreaking discovery, often found herself staring at the star charts, wondering what other impossible worlds, what other hidden truths, lay waiting in the silent, whispering void. The black hole continued its slow, silent dance, its secrets still echoing across 80 light-years, waiting for another ear to listen, another brave heart to venture into the unknown, forever challenging humanity's understanding of what is possible.